Hi, Mark here, and I just done this little video clip when I went away for a couple of days down into Lynmouth and Linton, and I went and I took with me iPhone, a GoPro and an old Nikon D200 from 2005 vintage. Now, why was I taking these? In essence, I'm going away on a holiday later on, a trip of a lifetime, that kind of thing, and I'm trying to decide what camera gear to take. Now, prior to this video, I'd done a couple of tries out using different cameras. I had a Lumix GF5, I think, with a touchscreen on the back, which I just couldn't get on with. Nice camera, but just not for me. I've got a Lumix DMC LX7, and that's a lovely camera, but it hasn't got a very good zoom on it. It's only sort of like 3.8 or 5 times zoom on it, maximum. So from that, I dragged out the trusty old D200 from 2005. I thought I'd give that a whirl. And I like it because it's a very manual camera. There's lots of buttons, but all on the outside. I don't have to go through digging through menus or touchscreens and what have you. Like, no live view, you've got to look through the viewfinder. But the only problem I had was the lens. Now, this is a 25 to 80 Nikkor lens, and it's okay. It's all right. I'm not a professional photographer, but I wouldn't be using this camera for starters if I was. And I found it was just lacking a bit on the zoom function. So I got another lens, old one, which is a Sigma. I think that's 80 to 200. But bearing in mind this is a crop sensor, it basically 1.5, which means that your 200mm becomes a 300mm, and conversely your 80 becomes 120, which if you're in a street kind of area, it's not really wide enough. So that kind of let that down when I was away. Benefits of it though, it does great, or I really like them anyway, for close-up photos. You can get in close and you can get that sort of good shallow depth of field blur to it, which I found is useful. So that camera's going with me, but I'm changing the lens. I've got one on order now, and that's a 18mm to 200, so 27 to 300 basically, once you take into account the crop factor. So that camera's going with me. Now, of the other two cameras, my iPhone and a GoPro 8, which I've got access to, the GoPro, it's nice. I found the images kind of very contrasty. Obviously, there's no great deal of controls over it, of what you can do with it. You can set different settings for slow-mo, that kind of stuff, or 4K, 2.6K, I think it is, which is okay. But I just found it a bit of a faff. And the menus on there and the touchscreen is just a bit of a pain in the butt. On the other shot of it, the iPhone, I found very useful, and I can see why they've killed off the little Happy Snap cameras. Obviously, it's just a single lens on the XR, but I found for inside, we went into a National Trust house. I found the settings on this one, you just weren't really going to get any nice interior shots without using flash, and there was a restriction on the house that you didn't use flash, so that kind of puts that one out the window. This one, however, will take Happy Snaps, and it's got a pretty good rate of capturing what's inside buildings, so that was good. It's also got a video function, which this one doesn't have. This one predates any kind of video or anything like that, so that one's no good. What this also has, which I recently purchased, was the ability to plug a USB port in the bottom, so that when I've done a day's videoing or whatever, I can shovel the files off onto a USB stick, which means I'm not cluttering up my phone with lots of video files. So that is coming with me as well. So I'm gradually narrowing down what I'm going to take away with me on holiday, because ultimately I don't want to walk around with a suitcase full of cameras just because this one's good at this and this one's good at that. I've got a general all-round camera, the D200, which takes nice portraits, takes nice close-ups, good at landscapes, a good all-rounder. But for video, I'm going to be taking this. So that just leaves me with two cameras, which I've got to get through security, which should be a doddle. My first trip was coming up in the next few months, and that's going to be to Scandinavia. So I'm going to take those with me and see how I get on, because the next trip after that is a bit more grand in scale, and I'll hopefully be able to iron out any bugs with those two, make any changes I need to, and then go forward from that. So that's where I'm at the moment. So that video there, which has been playing in the background, that one's actually one I've done for my mum, who's getting on a few years, doesn't get out as much, hasn't got the legs for it. So it's just something to sort of play in the background via YouTube channel, so that you know, she can almost kind of be there, so to speak. So there's just a little bit of music on it. No effort was made in trying to colour bias the video clips or anything like that. It's just literally straight out of the camera, straight onto DaVinci Resolve, a little bit of tweaking, and then output the video file. So that's where I'm going at the moment. So hopefully, fingers crossed, touch wood, I'll be able to get a decent result when I go away on my first trip.